Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. Speaking of birds, I have a large bird pack. I hope this doesn't feel like it's turning into the shopping network. It's truly not going to be this, but do you ever get on a roll and you're really making progress and you just don't want to stop? And my Jason is like, fine with me being out here. I feel bad. I said, is it okay if I just keep working and working? And he said, yes. Do what you want to do, and I'll be doing what I want to do. Okay, part of this is amazing. To me, I love little things like this. I bought a few of these monocles a while back, and to me, it's kind of representative of looking at something a little closer, and I know bird watchers love to carry binoculars or whatever, so I don't know what that green thing is. It's driving me crazy, though. Might have been part of the price tag. So anyway, this has 3 beads that are birds, and it'll all be in this little Burt's Bees pouch that, by the way, says it's made of paper. So the beads and then the monocle. This is an antique. I love these things. And I bought this one because it has the opening there. You could hang that from something. I was thinking about making jewelry with some of them. You see a piece of fabric with the bird, and there's more fabric. I'm going to try to move kind of quickly because I have more to list and I want to keep at it. This is a beautiful sample piece and it has an Asian look, but I love the bird there. So it has that fabric with it, and then it has a little key. It's kind of old. It's not a skeleton key, but these keys are still fun. Let's put that in there. I'm going to try to move quickly and just talk to you. You can see there are a lot of cards. That's something vintage. It's got a hole in it. I think it might have been an ornament, like a little punch-out hole. You could hang it from a string. Just a lot of beautiful paper. I love text, and this is from Familiar Garden Birds, and that's a really pretty paper. It's a nice paper. You can tell I cut something out of that. There is an actual picture of a birdhouse. Lots and lots of little cards. Some beautiful images. A lot of this is vintage, and then some of it is newer. When I find things that are themed, I bring them home and I try to go ahead and file them. That's interesting. And it's one of the reasons that I'm having to just really make myself organize and sell down, because this drawer of bird ephemera was so full. That's pretty scrapbook paper. It was crammed so full that things were starting to get bent. Now this is an actual vintage print. It's got a little bit of, wrinkling to it, but that is so pretty. You could cut this and put it in a book page, or you could hang it up. And then this book has some tears in it, but oh my goodness, I love Eloise Wilkin. And this does have some really nice pages. Okay, this is 1958. It does have some pages that are still full and intact. It's just a beautiful, beautiful book. There was a torn page, I think, and there are perhaps, there we go. There might be some pages missing, but a lot of material still in there. That's the front of a calendar, and I love that paper. It's like watercolor paper. Again, I'm just going to keep chatting with you as I go through things. These are a couple of pages that I made and ended up not using for a journal I was working on. They're beautiful. They have the Chinese paper cuts that have been decoupaged on, so those are in there. You can see book pages, tags. There's a postage stamp. This book has had some pages pulled out of it. It's a little bit glossy, but I still find these pages really fun to use, especially if you grunge them up, or you can add a little bit of different types of gesso to kind of calm it down. There's some tickets, a couple of playing cards. I love that. The rooster there, that's the front of a calendar page. That's beautiful. That also looks like a print, and you can see it's a little bit bent at the bottom, but how beautiful is that? This is a pillowcase that I bought in some vintage linens, and I've been hanging on to this, and I've never used it. I mean, it's been in here for probably a year or more, so I've got to let this go, and it's just so beautiful. It's in really good shape. It's got the little birds and the bird cage, and then this is nice. That was a great big poster, and I've been using bits and pieces of that because the paper is so nice. So you can see lots of book pages, glass bird, little bits of scrapbook paper, things from calendars. These were interesting pages. This was from, I believe, a wildlife magazine, maybe from Virginia or West Virginia. The migrating swans. There's a little image. Hear that old rooster crowing. And there's some wallpaper. That's a little tag with a grommet in it, and you can see the birds on the mailbox. And this was some sort of a bird ID little folder that maybe it was for a project or something. There's a stamp and some wallpaper, a tag. There's another rook card. That's the back of a greeting card, but I love these little birds. And some really interesting pages in here. You will see they get even more and more interesting. There's a little tag, ornithology. That reminded me of a bird's nest, so I put that in. There's a postcard that someone mailed. It has the bird on the front. And we have part of an old poster and another little piece of fabric. I forgot that was in there. I'm going to be listing more than one bird kit, and each one will have some charms and lots of pages. I will try to put equal fabric in, but I will price them accordingly. So, and I love that. I wish the entire cage was there, but just enough to suggest that there is a bird cage hanging there. So here are more of these wildlife magazine pages, and I like the black and white illustrations. And if I don't want to turn pages sideways, I showed recently how I cut them down and then tape them together so that they can be right side up. These are old. Those are from the Nature Conservancy. And then we have book pages with the woodpeckers, and that's an old, that was from a publication, I think, that was printed on this kind of paper, and you can see the owl, a little bit hard to see there because of the color of the ink and the paper. That's a piece of wallpaper. And then we have more. I'm not going to flip through every single page, but these are more of the wildlife magazine. And then that's from a children's poetry book. That looks like from the poem, Who Killed Cock Robin? And I remember that. There's another little Nature Conservancy stamp. These are book pages from the Wild Swans at Cool. I love the English poets and reading about the Lake District. And there's another stamp, the Bald Eagle. You can see there is so much material here, and I love making the Boho Birds journals, but believe me when I say I have more put up than I could possibly use. Look at the postcards. And I don't like to store it until it starts to bend and tear. That's from an old scrapbook. Look at that. You can see the little bird on there. Just more images. Oh, look at that. I love parakeets. I've been tempted so many times to get one, and then I don't because I just don't think I have time to take care of one. I love that illustration. This was from a packet of things where a woman was drawing out quilt designs, and I just think that's really cool. It was obviously a big quilt with birds on it. Another postcard, and there's part of a card. These are some feather stickers, and these are some French book pages. You can see the birds there. That's from an old children's book. Another book page. I think that little birdhouse might be from Daphne's Diary. And look at that, a couple more stamps. There is a little something, I don't know where that came from. I think I bought it at the Scrap Exchange maybe. But it's just an image on a little piece of like chipboard or something. And there's another stamp. And then we have a calendar with cardinals. Now, I think I take these birds for granted. It always shocks me when somebody leaves a comment that they're so happy to see the cardinals because they don't have them where they live. And we have so many that, again, I think I just take them for granted. Even though those pages are glossy, they're still really pretty to use like one or two. There's a playing card and a large book page and a note card, and more stationery and a beautiful napkin and part of a napkin. And then this calendar is from 1957. I love these map pages, and they all have images of these beautiful birds. Really, really pretty. So these, oh, look at that. So these are here, and this. So this is special. This is from 1950, and it's an American Homing Pigeon Fancier's Diploma. So I just bought it in some ephemera at some point. So that original little diploma is in there. And then we have this calendar. The pages are glossy again here, but I love Matt Adrian. I love his work. Look at that. So even if you only use part of it, or just for inspiration, I love that. So again, it looks like there are some prints in here. And, you know, I don't know if they're worth anything. This is 1976. I have so much of this kind of thing. So there is a lot in this pack. And here are the book pages that I said were really interesting. Just some really, really amazing, unusual illustrations. That's beautiful. But, and that's pretty. Some of them, yeah, the skeletons, which is really cool. And let's see, more book pages. These are really big, and these pages are a little bit glossy, but not a lot. So I have just more beautiful large book pages. And look at that. They've got that bug between them. I love that. Oh my goodness. That is beautiful. And we're still not at the bottom. So here's another calendar, and I love these calendars. They're really large, the birds, so pretty. And these pages, they're not really so glossy. These calendars are all nice pages, and that is, was that the one that was by, yeah, Susan Bourdet or Bourdet? I'm not sure how to say her name. And then there's a little book page. And then one more calendar with these beautiful pages. And this is Jane Shasky. Even like cutting out those little things. And some of the pages of that had been used, as you can tell. So this is an enormous kit. It has these beautiful charms, the monocle, I believe it's called, which is the little glass that you look through, and the pillowcase, book pages, some unfinished junk journal pages there that I was working on, prints, vintage prints, fabric. So this is in the shop, and I'm going to go ahead and try to list the second one this evening. I'm going to work as long as I'm in this like mood and just getting things listed, because it is helping me to get to the point that I need to be out here. Thank you so much, and I'll be back. Bye for now.